Evolving every day. Breaking free from the bonds of habit. By Perry Bonnell. Copyright 2023 by Perry Bonnell. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods, without the prior written permission of the publisher, except in the case of brief quotations embodied in critical reviews and certain other non-commercial uses permitted by copyright law. Introduction. The alluring comfort of routines. Many of us begin our days in the same manner, basking in the dawn's gentle warmth as the world is painted with colors of promise. The alarm goes off, we groggily turn it off, the aroma of coffee permeates the room, and a routine ensues that is remarkably identical to the one we followed the day before. Dear reader, this is the tempting security of routines. The need for regularity is one of humanity's most ingrained desires. Humans have been searching for order in the universe, the changing of the seasons, and the beat of their own hearts since the start of civilization. Rituals and routines emerge from these recurring structures, providing comfort through their familiarity. They reassure us that the world is regular, comfortable, and secure. Consider a world where there are no set schedules or habits. It would be a discordant din in which nothing is planned and everyone acts on impulse. The mere unpredictability may be too much to handle. The patterns we follow on a daily basis serve as mental road maps that help us navigate the maze of our lives and avoid getting lost. They give us something stable to anchor ourselves to in a world that is continuously shifting. They are the building blocks of our days. However, routines have their flaws, just like any other reliable friend. Herein lies the paradox of routine, its solidity on the one hand and its inertia on the other. When used properly, a sword may be an effective defensive tool, but in the wrong hands, it can inflict serious injury. Its greatest allure is the stability that comes with a regular schedule. Our daily rituals serve as a safe haven from life's tempests. They are the habits that help define us and the rituals that help us remember who we are. When life seems to be constantly changing, it may be comforting to have a set pattern. They allow us to deal with the stress of daily life while maintaining sanity. However, this safety comes with a hidden threat. Just picture a ship safely anchored in a bay. Even though it is protected from the elements, it is confined and cannot roam the broad waters. In a similar vein, the habits that keep us stable may also hold us back from exploring the unknown and seizing exciting new chances. This is the downfall of stability, becoming stuck in one place. Over-reliance on routines is the quiet ghost that threatens stagnation. Becoming a prisoner of one's own creation is a real possibility when we allow ourselves to get too set in our ways. The monotony of daily existence sets in when the days run together and the colors of life become muted. Suppressing curiosity stifles human potential. We stop paying attention to the details of our lives and start going through the motions automatically. An old adage warns that a tree that does not sway with the wind will soon snap. A life that is excessively tied to routines runs the risk of becoming brittle and unresponsive to the shifting sands of time. Stagnation isn't only a lack of development, it's also the smothering of what makes us human and the loss of our enthusiasm for life. Together, we're about to set off on an adventure across these pages, where we'll learn about the delicate balance between standing still and moving forward. We'll get to the bottom of habits and the ways they shape our daily lives. The freedom of choice, the value of adventure above safety, and the benefits of change over routine are other things we'll learn. In the next chapters, we will be asked to take a hard look at ourselves to determine which habits are helpful and which are detrimental. We shall become adept at balancing the benefits of regularity and the dangers of complacency by learning to use them wisely. So, when you peruse these pages, I hope you'll be inspired to go on a quest of self-discovery. Together, we can explore the paradox of routine and create a life that is at once stable and exploratory. The essence of a life well lived rests in striking a balance between the known and the unknown. Cheers to the excitement that lies ahead. Chapter 1. The Trap of Workplace Routines. In the middle of the city, skyscrapers rise like contemporary coliseums, each hosting a diverse collection of workplaces with their own unique set of customs, habits, and rhythms. Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoint presentations, and the never-ending pursuit of productivity have replaced swords and shields in these modern arenas. The daunting rituals of the workplace are important to this effort. Tracing the roots of common practices in the workplace. Understanding the significance of daily rituals at work requires a trip to their genesis. Think back to the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, when the hum of machinery replaced the singing of the craftsman. Efficiency and standardization rose to prominence, giving rise to the habits that have become so ingrained in modern life. There are morning meetings, weekly reports, and annual evaluations, all in an effort to bring order out of chaos, simplify procedures, and increase output. While today's digital hubs have replaced factories, the habits of the past persist, frequently unquestioned and unchallenged. When regular habits cause complacency, we are fooled into thinking we are productive. In the dazzling illusion of today's corporate paradise, habits are often portrayed as the protectors of efficiency. Indeed, we benefit from them for the time being. They give us our day's order and help us get everything done that has to be done. The boundary between actual productivity and the illusion of productivity is thin, though. Here is where habits, if not monitored, might lure us into a trap. Complacency is the silent killer of development. It has a subtle hold on us when we mistake activity for achievement, when we mistake being busy for being effective. Like hamsters on a wheel, we run and run but never get anywhere. Though doing routine duties may give the impression of productivity, failing to innovate and adapt means missing out on opportunities as market demands change. Neglected businesses in the real world that failed to break their routines. Let's take a somber look back at businesses past to see how much routines may cost if left uncontrolled. Think about the history of Blockbuster, the company that once ruled the video rental market. It was a guidepost for cinephiles, with its physical locations and strict restrictions against late returns. Blockbuster, however, stubbornly stuck to its old ways even as the rest of the world transitioned towards digital streaming, seeing rivals like Netflix as irrelevant. Everyone here is aware of the final outcome. Blockbuster's final demise can be attributed to the company's stubborn adherence to its old business strategy and routine. Consider the history of photography's megacorporation, Kodak. Kodak created the digital camera but was slow to completely adopt it, which is a bitter irony. They were stuck in routines that put film production ahead of digital innovation, while their rivals gained control of the new frontier. Their inability to shake long-held habits caused them to lose their position as market leaders. These businesses are examples of the pitfalls that can arise when ordinary tasks are mistaken for strategic planning. It's important to remember, though, that not all habits are destructive. They're like the tools in a craftsman's toolbox, extremely helpful when used properly, but destructive when misused. It's not that we have to eliminate habits, but rather that we have to figure out which ones are helpful and which ones are traps. As we wrap up this section, I want to encourage you to think about the habits you've developed in your working life. Are they actually leading to development or just giving the impression of it? Are they the key to your company's success or its downfall? In the next chapters, we'll dig more into the skill of discernment, learning to identify the habits that help and those that hold us back. Working together, we will find our way through the complex rituals of the workplace and onto the roads that lead to genuine creativity, development, and achievement. Because in the routine revolution dance, it is the beat that we set rather than the steps we take that determines our destination. Move forth into a braver, more promising tomorrow. Chapter 2. The Mundanity of Personal Routines. In the soft, silent spaces between our heartbeats, in the gentle rhythm of our breath, lies the essence of our personal routines. They are the invisible threads that weave the tapestry of our days, from the moment we open our eyes to the world outside to the instant we drift into dreams. The daily cycle, from waking up to going to bed. Imagine, for a moment, the gentle embrace of dawn. As the first light of day spills through the curtains, many of us follow an unconscious script. The familiar sensation of the bed beneath, the well-trodden path to the kitchen for that cup of coffee, the predictable rhythm of morning rituals. As the day unfurls, so do the routines, the midday meals, the evening wind downs, the nighttime stories we tell ourselves before sleep claims us. This cycle, so deeply ingrained, often goes unnoticed, like a song we've heard so many times that its lyrics are lost to us. Yet, these routines, while comforting, can become chains of our own forging. How routines can drain life's vibrancy. Life, in its essence, is a vibrant dance of colors, sounds, experiences, and emotions. Each day brings with it the promise of new adventures, new learnings, and new memories. However, when ensnared in the web of repetitive routines, this vibrancy can gradually dim, replaced by the grayscale of monotony. Think of a painter who uses only one color, or a musician who plays just one note. No matter how beautiful that hue or note might be, over time, it loses its luster. Similarly, when we confine ourselves to the same routines day in and day out, we risk missing the myriad hues and notes that life offers. In the embrace of routines, we might find solace and predictability. But we might also find that the world outside becomes a blur, its wonders rendered invisible by our own habitual patterns. Emotional cost, feeling unaccomplished and stuck in a loop. Now, let's delve deeper, beyond the surface, into the emotional landscape that unvaried personal routines can cultivate. The heart, with its infinite capacity for joy, sorrow, and wonder, can often become the first casualty of monotony. The sensation is all too familiar, waking up with a heavy feeling, a sense of déjà vu, as if we're reliving the same day over and over. This Groundhog Day effect can chip away at our spirit, leaving us feeling unaccomplished, stagnant, and stuck in a relentless loop. When every day mirrors the one before, a sense of purposelessness can creep in. The milestones, the achievements, and the little joys become indistinguishable, lost in the vast expanse of repetitive days. This emotional cost is steep. It robs us of our sense of purpose, diminishes our zest for life, and muffles the inner voice that urges us to dream, explore, and grow. Yet, hope, as they say, is the beacon that never dims. In recognizing the pitfalls of mundanity, we arm ourselves with the power to change. We begin to understand that routines, while foundational, need not define the entirety of our existence. We can choose to infuse our days with moments of spontaneity, with pockets of wonder, with bursts of joy. As we turn the page on this chapter, I invite you to reflect upon your personal routines. Are they the wings that let you soar or the weights that anchor you down? Remember, dear reader, every sunrise offers not just a new day but a new opportunity, to break the mold, to redefine our paths, to paint our canvases with the vibrant colors of life's experiences. Let us embark on this journey of rediscovery, finding ways to balance the comfort of routines with the exhilaration of the unknown. For in this balance lies the magic of a life truly lived. Here's to the countless possibilities that await, to the many songs yet unsung, to the stories yet untold. Here's to you and your journey towards a life of vibrancy, purpose, and joy. Chapter 3. The Science of Habit Formation. Our habits are the unseen dancing partners that set the rhythm for much of the rich fabric of our life, which is weaved with hopes, wants, and decisions. These seemingly unimportant patterns exert a surprisingly powerful influence on our daily lives, the decisions we make, and the paths our lives take overall. But what's behind the surface? Let's take a trip into the exciting fields of neuroscience and psychology to learn more about habit development and its scientific underpinnings. Neuronal circuits and the formation of habits. Our habits have their roots in the vast cosmos of our brain, where billions of neurons orchestrate a complicated symphony of communication. A neural pathway is formed in the brain for every movement, thought, and feeling. Think of these paths as trails through a wooded area. The more often we use a path, the more clearly it is defined and the less effort it takes to follow. In a similar vein, a brain circuit strengthens via repeated usage. As the old saying goes, neurons that fire together, wire together. This is what happens in the brain when we repeatedly participate in the same action. This connective tissue creates a highway in the brain, facilitating and automating the performance of habitual activities. It's really similar to picking up biking skills. At first, you'll have to put some thought into every single pedal and balance shift. However, with practice and the formation of new brain connections, riding eventually becomes automatic. The safe place, why we love our habits and how to break them. The human brain is an evolutionary marvel, with survival as its primary design goal. And it's always looking for better ways to do things so it can keep going. In this view, routines serve as the brain's method of preserving resources. It saves time and effort by eliminating the need to make judgments about routine, everyday activities by automating them. The comfort zone is calling you. This is not just a metaphor, it actually describes how our brains work. Our minds are most relaxed, at peace, and ready to take on new challenges while we're here. From an energy-saving perspective, it is better to engage in these sorts of activities and routines, which demand less mental effort. The comfort zone may be a safe haven, but it also conceals a dangerous danger, complacency. Though safety might be found in routine, development frequently awaits outside of these confines. Familiarity's psychological allure. Our propensity for habits extends beyond our neuronal architecture and into our psychological makeup. Comfort is a natural state for a human to be in. In a world that is always shifting, it is comforting to return to what is familiar and understood. Our forefathers, living in a world where predictable patterns indicated safety and the unfamiliar sometimes contained hazards, gave us a strong bias towards the familiar. The familiar is also linked to who we are as individuals. Over time, the habits we cultivate and the rituals we observe become extensions of who we are and contribute to fortifying our sense of identity. Changing a long-standing routine requires more than just a shift in behavior, it also necessitates a revision of one's sense of self. The psychological mechanisms that cause us to seek the stability of the known also contain the secret to the freedom of the unknown. The power of our imagination, dreams, and aspirations may help us break free from monotony. By visualizing our ideal selves, we may find the motivation to change our thought processes, our behaviors, and our direction in life. As you put this book down, take a time to appreciate the incredible wonder that is you. Your mind, with its complex neural networks, efficiency-driven nature, and constant balancing act between east-growth challenges. Your emotional core, which is home to innumerable potential futures, changed countless hopes and fears. Learning about the science of habit development is more than simply interesting intellectual work, it may serve as a guiding light. A guiding light that sheds light on our journeys and reveals not just who we are and what makes us tick, but also how we might change for the better. We pray that you'll use this information to reflect on your routines, give thanks to those who help you, and boldly go where few have gone before in order to find what makes you truly happy. There is more than just the allure of the past within you, there is also the promise of a future that has not been written. Give in to it. Chapter 4. Embracing Spontaneity and Variety. There is an inherent want for more in the rich, vast canvas of living, where each day is a brushstroke and each moment a splash of color. Enhanced depth, texture, and coloration. This desire prompts us to open ourselves up to the unexpected, include more variation in our daily routines, and give our personal lives the creative spark they deserve. The importance of having a rich and full life. Life on Earth is a one-shot deal, a transitory tango between morning and evening. This fleeting moment contains an open invitation to explore the whole range of human experience. Everything from the soothing touch of a new wind to the heart-pounding thrill of a new adventure may teach us something about ourselves and the world. Just pretend for a second that you have to read the same chapter of a book every day. Over time, the impact of even the most meaningful or beautifully crafted words will fade. Life is like a book, and the many experiences we have are like the chapters that keep us turning the pages. When we open ourselves up to new experiences, we expand our horizons, face new challenges, and, most of all, enable ourselves to be pleasantly surprised. Each day, we learn something new about ourselves, uncover a new interest, and feel a newfound happiness. People in real life who succeeded when they deviated from their routines. People throughout history, both ancient and modern, have been remembered for their courage when taking risks and prioritizing spontaneity over safety. Consider Steve Jobs, who, after abandoning his undergraduate studies, chose on a whim to enroll in a calligraphy class. This apparently haphazard decision ultimately inspired Apple's typography and design sensibilities, which in turn changed the way people interact with computers. Or take J.K. Rowling, who, in the midst of her regular routine, had the inspiration for Harry Potter while riding the train. Instead of writing it off as a random idea, she ran with it, and the result was the groundbreaking Harry Potter books. And then there's Rosa Parks, who, out of the blue, refused to move to make room for a white passenger on a bus. Because it was so different from the norm at the time, this one act marked a watershed event in the fight for civil rights. These people, along with countless others, are living proof of the life-altering effects of abandoning routine and welcoming the unknown. Unlocking success, recognizing the value of differences. Diverse perspectives, approaches, and experiences are essential to a rich and rewarding existence. The benefits of living a more interesting life are just waiting to be discovered. Our brain thrives when exposed to new experiences, just like our muscles do when we train them in different ways. Creativity, problem-solving abilities, and flexibility are all bolstered by exposure to unexpected situations and challenges. Emotional resilience, having our emotional toolboxes augmented through exposure to a variety of situations, both positive and negative. Through practice, we develop the fortitude, patience, and compassion necessary to ride out life's inevitable ups and downs with dignity. Widening of perspectives, our store of information grows with each new experience, each new person we meet, and each new set of skills we master. We get a broader perspective and a greater appreciation for the world's bounty and variety as a result. Better health, changing things around helps prevent burnout and reawakens a love for what you're doing. Our mental, emotional, and physical health all benefit from a varied and active lifestyle. In sum, reader, life is an open invitation to a rich variety of encounters. Although regular practices are helpful because they provide a sense of predictability, it is the unexpected twists and turns that provide life with its most exciting and memorable experiences. May you be fearless enough to periodically doodle on the margins of your life, paint with colors you haven't seen before, and dance to beats you haven't heard. Because the rich variety of human experience is what ultimately gives life its masterpiece quality. Embrace the amazing uncertainty of life with an open heart, broad eyes, and an adventurous spirit. Your personal touches are welcome on the painting. Use flair in your painting. Chapter 5. The Resistance to Learning. There is a hidden, insidious power that seeks to mute the song of learning in the ever-evolving symphony of life, where each day sings a new tune and each moment strikes a fresh chord. This wall of ignorance, propped up by habits and unquestioned ideas, separates us from the ocean of information just waiting to be discovered. The barriers that our habits put up to learning. The constancy of our everyday lives is comforting, but it frequently comes at a cost, the slowing of our mental and emotional development. Routines are the worn trails through life's jungle. They guarantee a comfortable and familiar trip, but they seldom take you to stunning scenery or secret waterfalls. Our tight adherence to routines traps us in a safe space where the familiar is king and the strange is viewed with distrust. An echo chamber is formed when one constantly surrounds themselves with the same media, the same group of friends, and the same set of views, which can stifle curiosity and discourage the search for new information. The risks of unquestioned beliefs and mental stagnation. There is nothing more fertile for the growth of errors, biases, and prejudices than a belief that isn't tested on a regular basis. While it's nice to have thoughts around us that confirm our current worldview, this is sometimes just an illusion that prevents us from seeing the vast vistas of understanding that lie beyond. A person's growth is stunted, and their interactions with the environment are shaped by their unquestioned ideas, which are the result of repetitive routines and restricted experience. They influence our actions, our interactions with others, and the value of what we bring to the table, reducing our agency. Socrates, the great philosopher, once said, "An unexamined life is not worth living." We risk living lives that are only shadows of what they may be if we don't challenge our views and seek out new viewpoints. Comparison between early adopters and late adopters. Stories from the past weave a colorful tapestry that highlights the dramatic difference between people who ventured to break with routine and question accepted ideas and others who clung safely to what they knew. Galileo Galilei, the Renaissance astronomer who ventured to declare that Earth circled around the Sun, defied the accepted norms of thought at the time. His unquenchable curiosity and willingness to confront the current paradigm opened the path for modern astronomy, despite the fact that his theories were met with hostility and even persecution. The fall of Blockbuster and the ascent of Netflix. The corporate world can learn a lot from the narrative of Blockbuster's fall in the face of Netflix's ascent. Blockbuster's failure to anticipate the rise of online video streaming may be traced back to the company's insistence on maintaining a physical presence in the marketplace. On the other hand, Netflix was free from such constraints. They came up with new ideas, embraced change, and revolutionized the entertainment industry. Orville and Wilbur Wright, during a period when the idea of human flight was widely scoffed at, these two brothers persisted in their pursuit of their goal. Their fearless curiosity and will to succeed propelled mankind forward. These examples, along with many more, point to a fundamental truth: an environment in which learning is valued and routines and unquestioned ideas are questioned is one in which creativity flourishes. In sum, dear reader, as you make your way through life's complex maze, keep in mind that every wall, every barrier, also provides an opportunity, a chance to climb, to explore, and to uncover vistas previously unknown. The obstacles to education are significant, yet they can be overcome. Arm yourself with an insatiable appetite for learning and a willingness to explore new ideas. Explore new things, question the things you know to be true, and take some risks by going against the grain. Beyond the obstruction is a wealth of information just waiting to be absorbed. May you always have the fortitude to lead with a learner's heart, for it is in the dance between the familiar and the unfamiliar that the alchemy of elevating the commonplace to the sublime resides. Embrace the ride, because it's going to be spectacular. Chapter 6. The regressive effects of persistent routine. There is a subtle undertow at work in the grand tale of human existence, a pull that, if left uncontrolled, might drag us away from the open oceans of development and into the stifling shallows of complacency. This power, originating through repeated actions, is linked to many types of regression. In this chapter, we'll delve into the inner workings of this phenomenon, exploring its various expressions and the strategies that might help us successfully navigate its perilous currents. Deterioration in mental and social health. Emotional regression. Having a life devoid of new experiences might cause your emotions to stagnate, much like water that is left to sit still. The same comfort, predictability, and even boredom can be experienced again and again due to our ingrained patterns. Our range of feelings might be dulled if we don't have our senses stimulated by new experiences and people. The intensity of happiness, the richness of self-awareness, and the thrill of discovering a new interest are all in danger. The mind is an amazing part of nature, and like all miracles, it grows stronger when it is put to the test. But trapped in a rut of sameness, it has no new material on which to reflect. As a result, a reduction in openness, interest, and motivation to learn new things. Humans are social animals that thrive when they have opportunities to engage with others. Because of our habit of following the same daily schedule, we seldom interact with new people. Without exposing oneself to new people and ideas, we miss out on the enrichment that comes from making new friends and experiencing new cultures. Why we can't always rely on our routines to spot promising developments. When opportunity presents itself, it is typically disguised as something foreign. Blinders are put on our eyesight when we adhere to rigid regimens. We put ourselves in jail and fail to see the opportunities that are there in front of us. Following the same old business practices may bring in money in the near term, but it prevents us from seeing new opportunities that might bring even more success in the future. While regularity can be comforting in personal interactions, it can also inhibit us from seeing and cultivating connections that could improve our lives. True accounts: to break free or not to break free. First, a word of warning about Kodak. Once a dominant force in photography, Kodak is now nearly indistinguishable from taking photographs. Kodak stubbornly stuck to their film-based ways even as the rest of the world shifted to digital photography. In what way? Their final demise was due to their inability to recognize the significance of the massive digital frontier emerging before them. The dangers of allowing habits to determine one's future are starkly illustrated by their narrative. The second flowering of Julia Child. At the age of 36, Julia went to live in France, a country that was completely unknown to her. She didn't only stick to her usual American habits, she dove deeply into French cooking as well. The disruption of her routine had a profound effect on her life and on American cuisine. Her experience shines a light on the possibilities that await those who are willing to venture outside their comfort zones. Third, a comparative study of two areas, Elmsville and Pinesworth. Imagine that you have two nearby neighborhoods at your disposal. The people of Elmsville were set in their ways and didn't want to alter them. Technology improvements, community enrichment initiatives, and cross-cultural contacts were routinely ignored when they presented themselves. On the other hand, Pinesworth flourished. They broke with tradition and embraced novelty, and the result was a thriving, successful town. The contrast between these two cities is illustrative of the polarity that might exist in our own lives depending on the habits we establish. In conclusion, reader, life is a vast, ever-changing tapestry that is always unfolding and changing. While habits might help us feel more grounded in an otherwise chaotic world, clinging too tightly to them can hold us back from reaching new heights. We wish you the insight to know which habits help and which ones hinder you as you travel the terrain of your life. Despite being a common occurrence, each and every sunset has its own special beauty. In the same vein, there is tremendous room for change, development, and awe inside the frameworks of our own lives. Best wishes for a life where you may dance with ease and excitement, balancing the familiar with the unknown. For in that equilibrium is found the meaning of a life well lived. Chapter 7. The thrill of breaking routines. A revitalizing breeze blows, promising adventure to those who set sail on the wide ocean of existence, where each wave brings with it a narrative of time. The excitement of changing habits is a breeze. In this section, we set sail to learn about the thrill of exploring unknown territory, the enchantment that emerges as the old gives way to the new, and the means by which we might navigate towards undiscovered shores. Why it's good to shake things up every once in a while. Even though life is a blank canvas, we tend to fill it with the same monotonous brushstrokes over and over. The canvas remains the same, but when we decide to use a different brush or splash a new color, it changes, revealing previously hidden patterns and opportunities. The essence of creativity is the ability to make associations, generate new ideas, and pave new paths forward. When we do things that are out of the ordinary, we mix up our normal experiences. When things become mixed together like this, fresh connections form and new ideas arise. Consider the fruit that inspired Isaac Newton or Archimedes' eureka moment in the bath. Both were deviations from the norm that led to important discoveries. Both personal and professional development benefit from being put to the test. Disrupting our usual habits might help us face new difficulties and step outside of our comfort zones. Just like a seedling stretches toward the light and bursts through its protective shell, we realize our full potential when we do the same. The excitement of venturing into uncharted territory. Every chance you get is like a door you haven't explored before. It might go anywhere. We open the door to new possibilities, knowledge, and experiences by stepping outside of our comfort zones and disrupting habits. Think about the adventurer who rejects the tried and true in favor of a more exotic route. Her trip is made more memorable by the sights she sees, the people she meets, and the stories she hears than it would have been on a more conventional route. In reality, the obstacles we face serve as stepping stones that help shape and refine who we are. Such tests are inevitable when we attempt to deviate from our usual habits. When we face our challenges head-on, we uncover more than simply answers, we also tap into previously untapped wells of personal power and insight. Methods and equipment for deviating from the norm. It might be nerve-wracking to try something new or to stop a habit. However, with the proper resources and methods, this adventure may be enriching and life-altering. One day a week should be Novelty Day, when you try something brand new. Trying something new might be as easy as going to a new restaurant or reading a book outside of your comfort zone. These moderate modifications might open up new avenues of thought and revitalize your soul. The second activity is skill swap, in which two people work together to teach one another a new ability. This not only provides a welcome diversion but also helps you learn new things and build stronger relationships. Third, in this technological era, try a digital detox by unplugging from all electronics for a day. Get back to nature, have some real-life interactions, or just enjoy some quiet time to yourself. Set monthly goals to push yourself. It can be to write a poem every day, to study the fundamentals of a new language, or to overcome your greatest fear. To challenge yourself is the point. Practice mindfulness first thing in the morning. Spend a few moments in meditation, writing, or thanksgiving before plunging into your regular chores. This will help you start the day with a sense of purpose and make you more open to trying new things. Although it's cliché, taking a trip is a great way to shake up your routine. A weekend trip to a nearby city may be just as enriching as a trip to some faraway, exotic locale. To wrap up, I'd like to say that life is, at its core, an epic journey, a tapestry created from the threads of experiences, decisions, and opportunities. While regular practices might provide needed stability, it is the interruptions, variations, and twists that truly enrich this fabric. I hope that on your way forward, you'll have the guts to deviate periodically from the beaten path, to welcome the excitement of the uncharted, and to relish the sweet taste of discovery. For in the tango of the expected and the unexpected is the music of a life well lived. Chapter 8. Navigating between stability and growth. Sometimes in life you find yourself at the crossroads between stability and expansion. Think of a tree, with its sturdy trunk serving as a base, and its spreading branches representing growth and the need for illumination. Like trees, we require both the predictability of routine and the novelty of change if we are to thrive. Stability's rewards, realizing the benefits of routine. While routines are sometimes portrayed in dull tones, they really contain a calming light that brings a feeling of order to the otherwise chaotic flow of life. They are the basis of all we do. A good morning routine is the foundation of a healthy existence. Maybe you find peace and quiet in the morning hours, or a brisk run. If you follow these routines every morning, you may expect to feel refreshed and optimistic throughout the day. It's possible that a productive workday has its roots in the preceding night's routine. The use of timelines, to-do lists, and regular reviews has been shown to increase output. Emotional stability. Some routines, such as a weekly get-together with friends or a nightly phone call with a loved one, work as anchors, bringing solace and stability in the midst of the ebb and flow of sentiments. The advantages are obvious, but there is a risk of becoming complacent if one relies too heavily on routine. It's crucial that we find a balance where our routines help rather than hurt us. Methods for assessing and modifying our practices. The only way to keep this delicate equilibrium is to take frequent intervals for introspection, evaluation, and, if required, fine-tuning. First, I recommend keeping a weekly reflection diary in which you write down your feelings and ideas at the end of each day. Examine each one to see if it is still serving its purpose. Is it becoming routine at this point? This strategy may help you choose which behaviors are valuable and which ones should be abandoned. If you want to see your own blind spots, it's a good idea to get some feedback. Talk openly with the people closest to you about the routines that make up your day. Their observations might lead to useful suggestions for enhancement. Third, plan for the following 3 months by setting personal and professional quarterly objectives. If you do this, you may have faith that your actions are driven by principle rather than habit. Give the status quo the middle finger every once in a while and embrace novelty. Explore some new options and find what works best for you. This allows for continued adaptability. Taking measures that will help you professionally and personally. Making choices is the essence of being alive. Every day, and perhaps every minute, we are faced with many choices. Learning something new on a consistent basis is the first guideline of effective lifetime learning. Incorporate learning into your routine by signing up for courses, going to seminars, or reading books. It's a welcome change of pace that fosters growth in both areas of life. Developing your network is a great way to meet interesting people and learn about new opportunities, both in your career and personal life. Such interactions have the potential to inspire growth. Third, practice mindfulness by paying attention to your internal states rather than reacting automatically. Throw yourself wholeheartedly into your current activity or choice. Determine if this choice will help you progress. Living on purpose may be the difference between a humdrum existence and one full of exciting growth. Accept challenges and step outside your comfort zone if you want to develop personally and professionally. Seek out challenges, embrace it, and prevail. Conquering difficulty boosts self-assurance and broadens one's worldview. I hope you have the wisdom to determine what habits to preserve and what to let go of as you strike a balance between security and growth. It's important to strike a balance between the monotony of daily living and the excitement of new experiences if you want to be successful in life. To keep expanding, it's important to stick to the same routines you've always used, but in a way that turns those habits into stepping stones rather than roadblocks. I wish you to be a seasoned sailor, able to ride out the storms and head straight towards your destination. The wrap-up. A symphony of change. A timeless truth may be found in life's ebb and flow, in all its many hues, tones, and rhythms. Change is the only constant. The horizon cries out to us as we stand on the brink of this profound trip through the pages of contemplation and revelation. It encourages us to throw caution to the wind, break free from societal norms, and go for happiness. A plea to accept change, deviate from convention, and enjoy life. The stories we tell and the legacy we leave are not painted with the steady brush of routine but rather the kaleidoscopic splashes of change and development. Taking a risk, making a radical change, or questioning the status quo may lead to some of life's most memorable events. Change is scary, but it's also the furnace that refines who we really are. As we adapt to new circumstances, our abilities blossom. Instead of seeing it as a threat, Look at it as a wayfinder that will take you down uncharted roads. The pressure to conform to societal standards and expectations may be overwhelming. But genuine happiness comes from carving out our own distinctive shape, one that is shaped by our own unique set of interests, values, and goals. Seek happiness. The path to happiness is one that must be traveled internally. Integrating our goals and aspirations into our daily lives is at the heart of this. It's about appreciating the little things along the way as much as the big wins at the finish line. Examining oneself to determine where change is needed. As you turn the final page of this book, may it signal the beginning of your own exploration into the bowels of your habits. Equip yourself with the reflective mirror and think deeply. Everyday activities. Get started with the everyday, the things you do before the sun rises and after the sun sets. Are they congruent with what you hope to achieve? How much they add to your happiness or your misery? Competent work practices. Review your daily work habits. Are they encouraging development or creating stagnation? Which is it, innovation or repetition? Thirdly, think about the patterns in your relationships. Do they create meaningful connections, or are they just a burden? Do they bring you joy or are they just a necessary evil? Reflect on the habits that contribute to your own development as a person, such as the books you read, the courses you take, and the exercises you perform. Are they trying to make you a better person? Accept and appreciate the worth of each habit that can withstand critical examination. Instead of seeing setbacks as negative results, try to see them as chances to learn and grow. Take care of yourself on this introspective journey. Keep in mind that your goal should be improvement, not perfection. It's about making a concerted effort to become a better person every day, even if only a little bit. As we part ways, I wish for you, dear reader, a life full of experiences, development, and satisfaction, a life in which you discover the bravery to challenge the known, the daring to journey into the unknown, and the wisdom to weave it all together. Instead of a final destination, let this book serve as a guiding light to help you avoid the pitfalls of routine. The wonder of a life well lived is found in its constant balancing act between the familiar and the unexpected. Cheers to fresh starts, bold decisions, and the pursuit of the extraordinary.